we are going to talk about the art of public speaking. Now, what do we mean when we say the art of public speaking? People say, I mean, many a times people say that it's a talent. I would rather say, no, it's a skill. And what's the difference? We say, somebody says it's a talent, and I say, or others also say that it's a skill. So how does it differentiate? The difference is that, when we say talent, it's something that is inborn in you, something that you have inherent. Whereas when we say skills are something that people can definitely learn. And it has been seen that, some people, I mean, some very good speakers today had once been very, very shy, So still, they are one of the best speakers today. How? Obviously, because of the acquired skills. So it is a very, very special skill. And this is required to all those people who have to convince people, who have to bring them together in or on a public forum, right? So the objective of this session is to face the challenge of public speaking in English, of course, because it can be any public speaking, but then we can put any language there. That, confidence. What happens, we know, I mean, no matter how well prepared we are sometimes, or we might be knowing about things also, still what happens as soon as it comes to public speaking, we start shivering right down our legs, our legs start shivering. That is normal, but I would say that's quite normal. Everyone, people in front of you might not be able to see you that you are shivering, but that is there somewhat in everyone. And sometimes it's good, because of that you prepare yourself well, right? So that is, yes, as I said, we can look into the good side of it. The second is, the objective of this session is to create an impression through your speech. How can you do that? Like, whenever you deliver your speech, how do you create an impression? That is also there. Then, the words that you use actually makes the difference. So the words, the sentences, the context that you will be speaking on, that is what will create the real impact, right? And then obviously we'll talk about how to develop our speaking skills in any language. I mean, English, of course, because that was our title today, but otherwise how to develop our speaking skills in English language and communicate effectively. Now, having said that, what is that one thing that you all are expecting from this session?
Want to be confident in speaking in public.
Okay, so how to get confident? I'll definitely be dealing with this. Okay,
we want to practice speaking one by one, a few minutes, just to.
yeah, definitely. See, once if we get a chance today, I'll definitely give you all the chance, or else we'll have a session, a particular session on which, on that particular day, we'll be allowing each of the participants to speak for, say, at least 2 minutes. We once had an extempore session, ma'am. I think Ofra ma'am was there, right? Yes, we had an extempore session that day. So a similar kind of a session we'll definitely be having, if possible today. If not, then some other day. Okay, so let's move on. A prior knowledge check. I mean, this is actually not a knowledge check. It is just for my information. Tell me, you must have heard many speakers speaking, right? And some of those speeches might have had a great impact on you as well. Tell me, what was it that had a very positive impact on it? What was that particular point about that particular speech that stayed there in your mind? What was that?
The words they use while speaking.
Okay, the words that they use. So I mean, that means good words, big words, or uncommon words.
Which we can understand, Not very
Yes,
hard words, which
yes,
we can
exactly.
understand.
Exactly the point. Because people might be using the speakers. If they are good orators, obviously they'll have a lot of vocabulary, they can use them. But is that equally comfortable with the audience also?
No.
That has to be checked out in a proper way. Because if your audience is not able to understand what you're speaking, your purpose fails there, right? Your purpose of speaking over there fails. I'll be talking about each of these steps. So the outline of today's presentation is, what is public speaking? We'll define, we'll just be talking about it. A quick kind of a history of public speaking. What are the types of speeches, styles of speeches, and then delivering a speech, how do we do in public? What are the ethical aspects of public speaking that we should keep in mind? Yes, that is important. That is why I have tried and put it. I could have stopped there after delivering the speech in public, but then no, I thought there are certain things which are ethical, and it actually gives you a great caliber if you are ethical, and people will also remember you for that. And that is what you want to do, right? You want to create that impact on them. So ethics in public speaking is very important. Yes, anxiety, whenever those who are not frequent public speakers, so anxiety is quite normal there. So how to manage it, right? We'll definitely be talking about it. And then how to engage your audience while you are speaking, so that they just don't get away from you. They will be sitting there physically but not mentally, they'll not be able to connect to you. So that will again leave your purpose unresolved. So therefore we'll be talking about how to engage our audience, and then we'll end with a few tips. So let's get going. When we talk about public speaking, what do we mean? Public speaking is actually, the definition wise, is the process of speaking to a group of people. And the most important part, which I would rather like to underline, is structured, deliberate manner intended. See, that is something that we are doing willingly, right? It is structured and we are willingly delivering it with certain kind of information and certain intention in mind, right? So that is important. So public speaking is a process of speaking to a group of people in a structured, deliberate manner, under which we try to inform people. See, the purpose can be these three: inform, influence, or entertain. These are the three reasons why we generally speak in public, right? So one is informing, influencing, and entertaining. Okay, we if that is the point, so what is conversation then? So I am actually not speaking publicly right now. I am actually conversing with you. Conversation. But this can be treated sometimes as public speaking also. So the conversation, on other hand, is a form of interactive, spontaneous communication, because many a times, you have a question, we have something. So, it can, you ask me something and I start talking about it. So that is kind of spontaneous communication between two or more people who are obviously following certain etiquettes. So when we say conversation and public speaking, what are the similarities? Both are conversation. Both conversation and public speaking involves audience. Yes or no? We have audience for conversation also and public speaking as well. Messages are there in both the cases. I mean, while you are speaking in public, you still have a message to pass on for any reason. It can be to inform them, to influence them, or to entertain them. And while we are conversing, then also we have certain messages which are exchanged between two parties. Now, depending upon to whom you are speaking, the messages are to be, I mean, messages are based on both your audience and the context that you are speaking. That means, see, to be putting it in one word, I would say your speeches are required to be tailor-made rather than a generic one. Tailor-made, why? I'll tell you. Like, you have to understand what kind of an audience you have, right? So a good conversation and a good speech both share elements of compelling, whether it is a good conversation or a good speech. You will see that there are the elements of storytelling. No, it's the storytelling that engages the people the most. If they think that, someone is just passing on a few informations, people tend to get bored. And as soon as they get bored, their attention weakens, right? And then your purpose fails over there, right? So that is why you need to know how to engage them. And that story format is to be created. Okay. So if we talk about public speaking, one thing for sure, it has to be structured. You exactly should know where and how you have to start, how you have to take it forward, and how you will be summing it up. So that structure has to be there. The content has to be very, very clear and has to be as per the audience that you will be addressing to. So these are very, very important things. While you are delivering a speech, when you are speaking in public, you are expected to use formal language. You just cannot use slangs. I mean, although I've seen, a few people, they do, but, again, I told you, that we have to be ethical as well while speaking. So, it should be very formal, no slangs, no ambiguous elements in it. I mean, when I say ambiguous, I mean we shouldn't be using any word, any such word, which might lead to two different kind of meaning, right? Because then again, people will get confused instead of, getting a clear picture about it. So this is important. And then what is your method of delivery? This also is important. These days, we all know it's not only just the speaking part, but people have these PPTs as a tool alone, right? So you have to be very, very careful about those, helping tools while you are speaking to the public. So these are a very important part of public speaking. Now, when we go to history of public speaking, Aristotle, he said that, to be concise, that public speaking is actually an art which has three elements in it: logos, ethos, and pathos. Logos, ethos, and pathos. When I say this, what do I mean? Logos means logical reason. When you are kind of trying to persuade people, convince people, do you know, no matter how well you speak, but people generally get, convinced with you only and only when you present certain facts and figures in front of them, because that gives them some logical sense. Everything should have a logic behind it. Because I am saying something, so you will believe it, doesn't happen. Does happen exceptionally, but then mostly it doesn't happen till the time you are convinced with the data that has been produced in front of you. Now, while we are producing data, number one, number two, if you keep on doing that, again, people will get board. So what is important that those data should also be put in a kind of a storytelling pattern, right? You must have seen people doing that. So you have to convince people with the logics for which certain facts and figures will help you definitely. Because when you say something and then back it up with your facts, their logical sense will say that this has a point and we should actually believe in it. So that is why that logos is there. And then ethos, I talked about the ethical part, the human character, what ought to be, what is the correct thing. So those elements, when people, because see, how whichever kind of a person we might be, but we all know what is right and what is wrong, right? That is there back inside us. So we get influenced by those people. I might have certain quality, I mean, you can understand the negative ones in me, due to which I myself is not very ethical, but then if somebody talks about ethic, that does have an impact on me, because we all have those two sets there. You must have seen it in the movies, right? That there is a person, I mean, our own personality with a black dress and with a white dress, right? One is the angel and the other one is what is it known as? A wicked mind. Whoever it is, we all know it's who? Devil. So angel and devil. So it's there. It's actually there. So we all love to have angels, although sometimes we are ruled by the devils. So, but then you have to influence people. So yes, ethos has to be kept in mind, and pathos. You should talk about those things which will have an emotional appeal to the people. That is also, I mean, and how you will be doing it, no one will know it better than you, because you have to pass your content to your audiences, right? Okay. Generally there are, I mean, we can segregate the type of speeches into these three categories. Informative, under which you just pass on information about something, might be new. Sometimes it so happens, no, that I mean, suppose you as a scientist have invented something and people do not know about it. So you will give a full description about it, how it works and all. So that will be more of informative. Instead of influencing people, you are kind of trying to inform them what this is actually about. On the other cases, when suppose you are an entrepreneur and you are speaking in public to put them all, I mean, to let them know that you are there with a particular purpose, with a particular product. So your speech should have certain elements in it which would persuade, not actually using those people, please do this, please, but the content is so strong that people get influenced by you. You are able to be successful, I mean, through your speeches you become successful in persuading them. And there are certain speeches for special occasions, so we all know how to prepare them differently, and we in no case can have everything in general. So we just talked about the types of speeches. Do you know the style of speech is different? There are certain people who are impromptu. I mean, you ask them to speak and they start speaking on it. I mean, they have that quality in them. So that is an impromptu speech. But sometimes it might lag certain elements which are very, very important, but still they have those quality, and sometimes they actually impress people with it. So impromptu speech. The other one is manuscript speeches, where everything is scripted, prepared, well prepared, and we generally advise the scripted one, because that helps you to prepare yourself well, that helps you to enhance your confidence. And when you are confident, when you believe, you have that conviction in you, people tend to believe in you. Till the time you yourself believe in what you are saying, do you think others will ever believe in what you are saying? So that is important. And then extemporaneous speeches. Sometimes, you know, the speech or the subject is never known, right? What it can be anything that comes your way. And when you have to speak on that, that is also a kind of speech. So we had I just talked about it. We had a session on extempore, right? Okay. So whenever now the main point that we are to talk about is whenever we need to deliver a speech in public, I believe in A, B, C, D, E, and many big, I mean, that is not only me, but most of the speakers, they do, right? Most of the speakers. Now, when I say A, B, C, D, E, what do I mean by that? So when I say A, I mean analyze. Now, what analyze? I'll let you know that, right? Analyze. B is for brainstorm. C is to create. D is to deliver. And we don't stop there. Then evaluate as well. Right? So these 5 steps are very, very important, right? Analyze, brainstorm, create, deliver, and evaluate. What actually do I mean when I say this? See, wherever and whenever we have to speak in public, the first and the foremost thing is to understand, analyze who your audience is. Do you think that you can speak to the people, I mean, anyone, all in a general way, like the way I speak to you? Do you think I'll be able to speak the same way if I'm talking to, say, the students of class 4? Obviously no, because you know, I have to understand what will be their temperament like. They'll get bored the way I'm speaking. They'll get bored with it. I mean, they'll get distracted. They'll not listen to me in a proper way. So that is very important to understand, analyze who your audience is, right? Okay, now the other thing is, suppose I am a person from science field and I'm talking about science, right? I have to talk about science, but the audience that I have are not from that field. So do you think if I use a lot of jargons from my field, that would be of any help to me if I do that? Rather, it will be distracting people. They'll kind of repel from me, go away from me. Why? Because I am using certain words which they do not understand at all, right? They are jargons. Jargons means a few words which are specific to a particular field. So one should not be using it. The second, I mean, if the audience is not from the same field. Other thing is, had they been from the science field itself, I know they know about it, I can very, very easily and comfortably move ahead with all those technical jargons. Why? Because I know that they are the people from the same field and they'll definitely be knowing about it. So you're analyzing your audience is one elementary and the most important step in your preparation for your public speaking. So first you have to, I mean, you should have a tailor-made speech all the time. This will help you to make it tailor-made. Otherwise, a generic speech is a big no, because that will not have, you know, just going and speaking out in general will be of no help. People will always admire you for a tailor-made, because you are speaking exactly according to their expectation, their mind, kind of, you have read their mind, and then you are trying to, put all those things that they are actually expecting out of you. So that is the actual key, number one. Number two, once you get to know who your audiences are, now you can brainstorm yourself. I mean, with a group of people, of course, if you do get them along. So you can brainstorm them to come out with certain things that will be very, very impactful in your speech. So you just can talk it out to them. What, as this kind of a person, will you be expecting from someone who has come to give you a session on this particular topic? So everyone will come out with what their mind says. And take my words, it is always better to have, a lot of perspective rather than having just one perspective, because then you are looking from just one angle. But when you get all the perspective, you actually get a 360-degree kind of a view about things. So many times it's human, right? I mean, we have limited capacity and we have so many things to think about that sometimes, even a small but very, very important point might slip off our mind. But when we have this brainstorming session, we can definitely, get all those, we can kind of extract out the nectar from the flowers. So it's just like that. So you can take it out, and then with those things, you can create your speech, prepare it well. And then once it is done in a proper way, you can deliver. You are confident enough because now you know that you are prepared exactly in accordance to your, audiences. So you deliver, and then while delivering also, you can keep on evaluating. You can keep on looking into the body language. I mean, the body language, how they are reacting to it. The people, your audience, you have to have an eye on them, because that will give you a clear picture as to how well are they understanding you or not understanding you, or they are now getting, disconnected with you. They are not engaged the way they were earlier. So as soon as you feel that, you need to re-engage them. We'll talk about it again. So I hope ABCDE is clear. Let's move on. I'll clear this. Okay. So let's move to the next slide. And as I said, while creating, what is important is the first and the second is done. Analyze your audience and then brainstorm. And after that, as I said, to create. So while creating, you have to write. Actually, that is what is expected of you. Write the speech, whatever you are going to speak. You might not read it out in front of your audience, but then you have to structure it. And to give it a structure, it is important for you to write it. As I told you, public speaking, your speech should be structured. So you have to write it. So first, the topic or the subject of the speech, then choosing a relevant topic in lieu of the audience that you will be having, the interest, what kind of interest they might be having. Either there will be a purpose which will be, already given to you, or else you have to look into the interest of that audience, the audience that you have, because you have to keep them engaged and connected to you. The moment the connection is broken, everything is gone. So that has to be there. How you will keep it connected, that is up to you. Sometimes you can, crack a few jokes in between if you feel that they are getting bored. But never forget that you have to be coherent with the topic. Even if there is a joke, that joke has to be connected to what you are speaking about, right? So you can always be prepared. See, no one likes that, boring, long speeches. People will get bored. We also do, right? So those small tingy kind of jokes, stories will help you keep them connected to you. They'll be looking forward every time as to don't know what is going to come next, which will be very, very interesting. So that is important. Narrow down the focus of the topic to allow you to cover more and more information. But then just with that, do not get deviated. Do not, this is important. Do not get deviated. Do not get carried away. Sometimes, something might happen in between, so that, you start talking about something else, whereas you are talking about some other topic. So never do that. Okay. Keep the purpose of your words in mind. Why are you using those words? I remember when we were talking about how to pitch your big idea, I told never use we would suggest, or we are planning to do. No, because when you say planning, that means you are not confirmed about it. You are still into that phase where you are planning. But when you say we are doing this, we are into these things. So that will talk about to the point and firmness. This is what you are doing. So your words have to be very, very judiciously selected, because one small wrong word used in your speech might totally kind of sabotage what you were actually trying to do. So be very, very cautious about the words that you are using. Do you want to inform your audience of something, or do you want to persuade them to your side of an argument? So again, that way you have to use those kind of words. Create a very, very well organized speech. And as it is, we have been doing it. We have been writing essays since our childhood. So we know how to start something with. We know it should be always with an introduction, and then the main elements should slowly come in. The explanation should come in, and then the examples can follow, and then we sum it up. Obviously, with facts and figures in between, we sum it up. So obviously, this is how we do. Introduce a topic, emphasize a few main points. 1 second. Yes, introduce a topic, emphasize a few main points, as I said, then go and deal with it. And then, after emphasizing, giving it a full description, you can put in, again, for the logical sense, as I said, you can put in a few facts and figures into it, and then you can definitely move ahead towards the conclusion. That sums up the central thesis. So that will make your job very, very easy. As I said, it's actually something that we've always been doing, but we tend to lose sight of it many a time. Okay, so let's move. So once we have prepared our speech well, we have prepared all that we want to speak about. Then the second thing is prepare beforehand. Once you have written down the speech, now what is important is practice your speech mentally. Many times you must have seen people, if it's a big event, people try and practice it many a times at home, in front of their friends, family, so that they don't kind of lose anything out when they are in front of the actual audience. So practice, the more you practice, that will help you to control your nervousness and anxiety. You'll definitely be able to control it. That will help you build confidence. As soon as, and I'll tell you one thing, very, very frankly, in spite of preparing so much, when you go first time in front of the audience, it will still shake your legs. But the moment you start speaking out, it will be all gone, because that is just there psychologically at back of your mind. But the moment you realize that you are well prepared and you can, talk it out very comfortably, slowly, your legs become firm, you stop shivering, and you start smiling as well, because that shows how confident you are about what you are speaking, right? So rehearsing the speech out loud after writing it can assist you in nailing down good timing. You know exactly. Sometimes, you can come, you have written it, no, in a structured way. So, you know what you have to speak. So I mean, it's not necessary that you'll exactly be using the same thing, same words. Sometimes, it can spontaneously come to you that, you can just tilt it because you know what is the actual matter over there. So, and when you are prepared, no, you don't need to read it out. You don't need to read it out. And that creates a very good impression. But that doesn't mean that if you're not prepared, still you will not use the manuscript. No. Instead of saying something wrong, it is always advisable to keep it in front of you so that you don't lose sight of a few points. But having said that, if you're prepared well, and because that's prepared by you only, so you actually know what the content is like, and no one can ever be more confident than you because you have prepared it. You have prepared the speech, you have prepared your speaking. What else do you need, right? Because no one will know those matters more than you. Okay, this will also help you. I mean, if you are practicing it, no, that will help you memorize also. Now twice, thrice, 4 times now you have already, you wrote it once and then you spoke, prepared it, you tried to rehearse it, say 4 or 5 times. It is 75 to 80% of it is already there in your mind, right? So you are kind of memorized it. Thereby, you are very free. I mean, you do not need to take up the paper, okay, look, and then, in between, if you feel that you have forgotten something, that will give you nervousness. No, that will not happen because you have done it well. Okay. Now, while you are delivering the speech, the next point, once you have created, you remember, analyze, brainstorm, then we created the speech, and then prepared ourselves, and now we are on to the delivery. We are about to deliver the speech. The actual process of speaking in front of the audience provides you an opportunity. There, spontaneously some, things can come to your mind and you can speak it out. And the moment you do so, no, people start getting connected to you because that came to you spontaneously. Why? Because then you could relate it to, you yourself could relate it to that particular context. So you're relating to it, no, will relate the audience with you as well. Use vocal and visual elements. This is very important. That is the reason why these days people use PPTs along. So what happens that those visuals will be there and then you will be speaking. So it will have a very good impact the way we are having it. But see, what I have done, do not follow it. I have put it, I mean, a lot of point, but what I suggest is, although this is 5, but the other 5 is not there. For preparing a PPT, we say it should be 5 by 5 PPTs. That is, one of the secrets. So if you are using it for a public speaking, please remember to keep the 5 by 5 aspect in mind. Now, what you might be asking me, ma'am, what is this 5 by 5? The 5 by 5 is that there should not be more than 5 points in one slide, and each point should not have more than 5 to 6 words in it. Why? Because what happens, like it is happening right now, if a lot of thing is written over there, so your audience get distracted. They start reading there and they lose out what you are speaking about, right? So you should not do it. So effective vocal delivery, use both vocal and visual. And then I said effective vocal delivery involves changing elements such as, pitch. Sometimes, I mean, you just cannot have a monotone, right? People will run off. So, your pitch should keep on changing. Sometimes, you should show that vigor, that enthusiasm. Sometimes there should be a certain kind of a pause that will give them a chance to understand and realize and take it in. And speaking rate in order to emphasize parts of your, when we say, this is what, I mean, what am I saying? I am actually putting a thought on that particular thing, and that will certainly pull your attention towards it. So that emphasizing part, so your tone should keep on changing as per the conditions. So these are again important. These are very, very important part of your delivery. in terms of visual element, maintaining an eye contact with your, see, I don't know whether you are getting that feel or not, but wherever I can see your pictures, I mean, this is something, I have my camera on some other side, but then I am looking at wherever you all are. Because while speaking, no, the eye contact with your audience is a very, very important part, and it is a kind of a support system. On the other hand, and the second thing is maintaining eye contact is important. Keeping an open posture can help you build a relationship, because if you are like this, no, I mean, I don't know how well are you aware about the body language, but someone who is enclosed like this gives an impression that they are not open to people for any kind of connection. So it should be an open posture where you should, you have your hands open, you are speaking, so that people know you are open to them, right? On the other hand, if you are inappropriately dressed, somehow it will have a kind of negative impact on yourself. Or sometimes, unnecessary gestures can distract your audience as well. So that dress formal actually enhances your confidence and the confidence of your audience on you both, right? Okay. Now, thinking of the audience, as I said, you should always keep the audience in mind, both before and during your time on the stage. Before is when you are preparing the speech. So you know who your audience are, and accordingly you are preparing your speech. And while you are speaking, you know what kind of people you have. So you have to be very, very cautious about their body language, whether they are able to understand it or not. If you think that there is something that, which they couldn't understand, or, I mean, you'll get the feel. So you can, again, in your own words, you can change it, how to convince those people or make them understand that. Knowing details about your audience in advance, such as what is their age like, religion, educational background, can help you tailor make your speeches so that, it becomes relevant for them. So while talking, pay attention to both verbal and non-verbal feedback. As I said, sometimes people will say, oh ma'am, that's great. And can we know about this in detail? So that is another kind, that is a verbal kind of a feedback. But sometimes their smile, or sometimes that kind of a expression will let you know what happened over there, and then you can you can do the rest of the things very easily. So and if you feel that they are getting disconnected, so then you can use those small jokes, as I said, your small stories, to re-engage them and get them reconnected to you, right? Now, as I said, this is very important, the ethics in public speaking. Establish your ethical goals. You should not have anything which is unethical while nothing to demean anyone, nothing, at least not in a public speaking, nothing that would lead to any kind of a controversy, nothing which will lead to something which is not acceptable socially. As I said, using slangs, using some other words, people sometimes feel that it's very cool, but it's not. The more ethical you are, the more acceptable you will be today, tomorrow, and even in the yesteryears. People have been doing this, and that has always been a secret. Honesty, something that you are speaking from your heart reaches the heart. When you speak from your mouth, it is just superficial. People will just come across it, and then they'll also forget it. But when you speak from your heart, that honesty reflects and it reaches the heart of the people that you are talking to. So that again means what, you should know exactly what you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it. So if you do not know yourself what you want to achieve, do you think your audience will ever achieve what they are looking for? Never. So that is important. Use no abusive language. Abusiveness is not cool at all, right? Okay, so as I said, there are three types of, we have already talked about it. There are three types of speeches: one that you have prepared, one that you give, and one that you want to give. You wanted to do something else, you did something else, and one, I mean, you had prepared something else. So this happens if you are not using that script. And when you start using the script, no, you become monotonous. Again, I'm telling you that. So that is why I said prepare yourself well. So prepare your content. So now the last 7-8 points I'll repeat kind of. Know your audience, prepare your content. Your PPT should be 5x5, as I said. It should have a coherent theme. You should not get carried away, go somewhere else. Unusual information should not be there. And you should definitely use a few facts and figures, because that will hit their logos. I told you logos, ethos, and pathos. So it will hit their logos, and that is important for them to be convinced. Give the figures in a story mode, as I said. Then your content should be such which should be shareable. Shareable means when people feel pride in sharing it. So you should, I mean, it should be such that people will be happy to share your contents with them. So please keep that in mind. You'll definitely be able to do it when you are doing it. Avoid repetition as far as possible, because repetition actually kills your reputation. That is what people say. So repetition kills your reputation. So please try and avoid it as far as possible. You can use something which is trending, something that is in vogue these days. Have you ever seen those Amul, those big hoardings that Amul has?
Yeah,
So
they
you
always keep changing.
as per the latest trending elements,
Latest
right?
trend, yeah,
That is really very, very something which
current
is commendable.
topics which
Yes.
are going on. Current
So
topics.
you can definitely use those kind of viral things to put in between whatever you are speaking, so that people actually get connected with those things. So, and I hate extempore, at least over there. Why? Because if you are prepared well, you have a better impact, right? Ethics in public speaking as listeners. If you are not speaking, if you're listening, so the courtesy should be maintained, attention should be there, and you should be open to listen to even a perspective which you might not be very, very comfortable with, or might be you had a altogether different mindset, but when it was spoken to you, it was a different perspective. So you should have that open-mindedness to accept that as well. Okay, anxiety in public speaking, as I said, yes, we all know. Understand that anxiety can be good also, because that anxiety will help you, will make you prepare well. And when you will prepare well, you will obviously deliver well. Address the physical manifestation of your anxiety. What happens when you are in anxiety? Your heart rate grows, you start having dry mouth, you start sometimes feeling cold, shaky. So when you plan in advance, whenever required, you can misdirect the audience, and then again bring them back to you, is what will help you tackle with your anxiety and actually help it make you more strong. So engaging your audience, you can use props. As I said, you can use those visual ads. Sometimes you can use questions to them. That actually helps a lot, because then they get connected. You can create dialogues, get your audience to interact, speak, say something on certain things. You can make them laugh, and then you can bounce back to your story, your part, your summarizing point, etc. So you can use various things. I mean, we've already talked about, so I won't repeat it again. ending, when you are concluding, it should speak about itself. You should not say, you need not say that now I'm going to conclude this or now I'm going to end this. People will understand it the moment you are kind of summing up. So what we learned today is this. So as soon as I say this, so you get a hint that yes, now we are about to be towards the closure of it. Yes, give them something to do. As soon as you finish, you can say, so now please, can you give me a feedback on this, or what is your take? So this also is one of the part that you keep them connected to you till the time you are on the stage. Grab attention with the first second and continue intriguing people for the first minute, and open people by bouncing between stories. I mean, you can keep them engaged. We've already talked about it till the time you finish it all, right? So know your subject and your speech, know your audience and your space. Never apologize. Why? Because you are not doing anything wrong there. Imagine yourself giving a great speech. You have to believe that your speech is great, and therefore people will definitely believe that yes, it was a great one. Focus on your message and not how you are, right? Yes, that, as I said, that will definitely help you enhance your dressing. The way you are presenting yourself will definitely help enhance your confidence, but then it is the message which is more important, right? Yes, while preparing, we generally, watch the masters, the best speakers, we do follow them, but don't forget that no one actually likes replicas. What they like is someone who is different, someone who is an individual, right? So yes, do follow the main things, but then it should have your element in it. People should understand that this is you who is speaking it. So don't lose yourself. Watch the masters, but don't lose you. Fix up, look sharp. I mean, if you are not looking sharp, how will people believe in you? That is important. So you should look sharp, mind your posture. You should not like, no, but then, we should be doing this. I mean, people will think that you are nothing. I mean, you have nothing in you. You have just come up to the stage, but you do not know what to do, or you have been pushed to do so. So mind your posture. Your posture is very, very important, because half of the work is done by them only. Your verbal communication becomes effective only when you communicate to the people non-verbally, right? Fake it till make it. I mean, sometimes, initially we are not confident, but till the time we are confident, actually, we should actually put on that, an actor's get up, under which we will show them that we are confident, although we might not be. So fake it till the time you actually make it. Relax and slow down. It's good to relax. Sometimes that is good for us. That helps us to control ourselves. And the highest confidence comes to you when you look into people's eye. Yes, that is important. So what we learned today is the confidence of public speaking. Anything that you would like to ask? So, if you want, you can share this with your friends, and you can also give your feedbacks at #getsetup or @getsetup or social@getsetup.io. It was great being with you all, and thank you for the patience that you showed. Anything that you would like to ask, I'm there.
We can practice 1 minute, everybody.
Yeah, sure. Who all wants to actually speak? I'll give that chance. I mean, so you can start. Amit sir. At least
Myself?
one person. Yeah, sure.
1 minute. Yeah, I had to give a speech about somebody who passed away 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I knew this person, and they were kind of speaking, celebrating the 20th birthday, 20th death anniversary. So
Okay.
I said, this person, Mr. Roshan, his name was Mr. Roshan. He was a very devoted, passionate person. We definitely miss him immensely. He was a good friend, but he was a very, very positive person. Whenever I was down or depressed, I would phone him. He would give me so much encouragement. I was so happy to have this person as a friend, and so I liked his personality. That I miss him. I will miss forever. And he went through so many difficulties in life when he immigrated from Africa, back to Canada, and and he started a new business from nothing, and he did quite well in spite of so many other difficulties, many children very young, and the weather in Canada, and but always positive, always laughing, and he had an open door policy. Him and his wife, of course, they were so welcoming to the new people, immigrants and all that in Canada. So I'm immensely missing him. I will miss him. And this person, Mr. Roshan, made a big impression in my life. Thank you for giving me this chance. It may mean nothing to you, but I just wanted to practice.
We can actually understand. And
Yes,
and as I said, that the speeches are when you want to influence people, when you want to persuade people, when you want to inform people, and for special occasions. So this one was for that special occasion.
Yes, and we do.
And we could understand that emotion, sir. That and that is what is actually the purpose, that whatever you want to pass on passes on to the people, and that is what is important.
But Miss Mamta, I want to urge you to give us as audience more chance to speak.
Definitely, we'll have a session. We'll definitely have a session on this. But before that, this particular session was important, so that those who are not that confident can actually prepare themselves accordingly and then get a chance to speak on.
No, I enjoyed your basic philosophy and your structures and the need and the purpose, everything. It was very, very important for me. But more than for our confidence,
for your confidence, it's important.
Yes, we need more than half the time